Hey, what's good? This is CM King of BrandELAMANT bringing you our first tutorial. It's going to be on how to create a stencil print using freezer paper. Now, you're going to need an X-Acto blade, some pencils, uh, something to cut on top of freezer paper, and some creativity as well as paint. So, without any further ado, check out this first tutorial. Also subscribe and check out the Facebook page. Alright, so as you can see, we got a pencil, an X-Acto blade, cutting surface, some freezer paper, and as you can tell, I've already started cutting this out. I'm gonna have a little throw up here. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a design right here, and then I'll put this on a shirt. So stay tuned and just watch the magic. For this next part, you're gonna need an iron and the paint, and you want to make sure that you have lotion on your hands and or some gloves available, because paint has a tendency to get everywhere. All right, so the ironing machine the iron only needs to be on medium. It doesn't need to be on hot or steam or anything crazy like that. It just needs to make sure that this freezer paper gets hot enough to adhere. You're going to be drawing and tracing on the matte side, and there's this glossy side on the other side of it that has a bit of a shine to it. You can see that in the sunlight. You're going to put the glossy side down on top of your surface that you're going to be working on. I'm going to be using one of my other project shirts. It's I Love Me shirt that I'm going to put this right on the back. So you want to get it nice and lined up. Normally I wouldn't work on this desk for this process, but I figured it's a good way for you guys to see exactly how this goes. So it's excess, don't really matter, because it's going to be ironed down. Once you get that iron on it, all this evens out and it's a whole new situation. Iron's just about hot enough. Go like this. There's no rush. It's more important to get it done right. Now this paper is also very delicate, so you don't want to actually manhandle it too much, because you don't want to tear it or inadvertently destroy something that you worked on for all this time. Any areas that don't want to stay down, you can just spend a little more time on them. And so now that that's done, see how this ain't moving? It's like one uniform plane. You take your paint, your brush, mix this nice and good. Fabric paint is a bit thick. Often I'll tell you to thin it out, especially if you're not screen printing. I can be, this is a gorilla shirt right here. This is a get it done moment. So y'all see exactly how you can produce your own stuff. You don't need the stores. And or you can buy this from me. I'll create plenty of products straight to you. All the custom work you see on this channel is going to be available on my Etsy account, so you can definitely check that out as well. Again, you don't want to spend excessive amounts of time on certain areas. because you don't want it to start raising up the paper. That'll destroy the clarity of your image that you've been trying to produce. So you want to apply the ink in a nice, smooth, generous fashion, but also taking precaution not to raise your surface. So then you end up with lines where your ink bleeds through to other areas where you weren't intending it to be. Just making sure that the color's nice and uniform. There's no areas that got bled out, or corners that might have gotten missed over. And this is looking right on the money right here. So now what you're gonna do is, first you get rid of your excess paint. Make sure your hands got no ink on them. No ink, make sure, because otherwise you're gonna end up with a problem in the long term. You're gonna lift this up slowly, but with a uniform amount of pressure. Taking care to recognize how you did your pattern so that it doesn't tear as it's coming off. Patience is key. It's more important to get this off without destroying your product. Cool, so now as you can see the finished product, we just have to now iron. You have two options. You can put a piece of fabric that you don't care for over it, or paper towel, or like two pieces of paper towel I would say, and you iron it to heat set the ink. Okay, so that will make sure that the ink don't go nowhere, and process like this will definitely last a number of washes in the washing machine, and you'll end up having a product that looks like it comes from a store. Okay, so now I have a piece of paper towel that can literally lay across this whole image, and I have the iron. You can put it at a higher setting if you want. The main thing is to get the heat on this ink at a certain level. The heat will set the ink in place, and it'll be a high quality image. So now what we'll do is we're gonna put this right over. This is literally, it's 2 sheets wide. I mean 2 sheets thick. Right on top. And we're just gonna iron it. So now we'll take a look, see how much of this ink wanted to come off. See how much ink is actually coming off in this process. Let's see excess. The stuff that wasn't really fully adhered to the shirt. It's a mirror image right there. You see that? So I'm gonna do that one more time just to make sure we get as much of this excess off, because we don't want this ink running or creating any other issues. We want to make sure what's here is staying here and going nowhere. Still got some, but a lot less. So now, if you have any visible ink that needs work. Like I see this E here needs to be pressed again. You can go over it. This is just to make sure that you you have a quality image. And there you have it. Finished product. Boom. Alright, so as you've seen, creating a stencil with freezer paper is incredibly simple. It also is a very unique process where it's good for maybe one use. Sometimes the stencil will break even during that same one use, like currently, as I can show you. Uh, this stencil, pow, right there. The paint itself uh, will react with the actual paper, and sometimes even if the paper doesn't uh, you know break, it will still curl. So if it curls, you're not going to be able to iron it on properly the next time you want to use it. Also, you have the fact that ink can be right on top of it, so ironing it on will pose its own issues. So in conclusion, you're going to want to have an X-Acto blade, which can run you back about $3-4. If you don't even have one, it might cost you in total, $6 for a really good one. The freezer paper is like $2.50, but that's for like a 70-foot roll. What's this? This thing is huge. You know what I'm saying? Freezer paper. Reynolds. Freezer paper. What else would you need? These foam brushes you can get at a craft store for like cents. I mean, seriously, like 30 cents or something like that. Bulk is always better. The paints. Now, paints are tricky because you can get a quality paint for like $10 as a big container, or you can opt to go the mini route and have I think this was like a 20 pack or a 10 pack, and it was about $15. So depending on your aspirations and how far you want to go in it, they'll give you different options. Everybody knows pencils. I mean, you can get a pencil pretty good price. What else would you need? Now this cutting boards. Um, this material is very durable. I've cut many things out on that, and it shows very little scarring. And something like that, I think that cost me $12. So in total, you're looking at maybe $20 weekend warrior project if you wanted to just get into that and just try it out. If you don't want to actually create it yourself, you can always contact me at get.element@gmail.com, and I also have the website, which will be on this very shortly. And there's also the Facebook like page. So just remember, what you put into things is what you get out. So if you want to go hard, get in there and get it done. This is CM King, Brand Element, signing out.